It's good to be with you here today. My name's David Gould, and I'm the CEO of CR Worldwide. CR Worldwide has been established now for nearly 18 years and operates globally with many medium and large enterprises. You wanted to ask how many there were in terms of employees and things. Yeah, so the makeup of CR Worldwide is 59 employees currently, and we have been growing that steadily over the years as we've been able to acquire new clients and new programs. We are an incentive and recognition and performance company, so we focus on business performance improvement as well as motivation of employees. And what we do to help organizations in the mid-market to large enterprise is to incentivize either sales performance or channel performance, as well as also introducing measures by which we ensure that recognition is provided both at the monetary and non-monetary level, really looking at the end-to-end program design right the way through the life cycle of any program, and then potentially refreshing further down the line to make it engaging, interactive, and changed up to ensure maximum participation and engagement of those programs. We have, I guess, sort of three main buckets. One is very formal recognition, where there are almost pre-programmed functionality where we load the data. That data then triggers certain alerts as certain situations are planned in. Good example of that is years of service, for example. If we know an employee's start date, we know when their anniversary dates are, we can then trigger the communications, both pre-planned communications with their line managers, etc., and with their peers throughout the process. Another one is around nominating one another. So this is peer-to-peer nominations, where it is very much a formal, I nominate this person because of this great reason. They've gone over and above. They've really helped me achieve what I was looking to set out to do. And there's no way I could have achieved what I've done without this person. And so there's monetary rewards that are attached to those as well, but they go through an approval process via a line manager or a company director, etc., in order to award those. In addition to that, we actually have a quarterly value our values, we call it. We have company values, as most organizations do, and we promote the adoption of those and the behaviors that are displayed to demonstrate those behaviors and values. And so we actually put all of those nominations that we receive in each of the categories of our own company values, which is can do, innovative, and respected. And then also we have a team value our value category as well. And so therefore we have 4 quarterly value our values winners that we announce at a company all on board meeting that we have frequently within the business. Some other things that are maybe more informal recognition and very much key to the strategy of our recognition is those informal things, those sort of out of the blue, sort of nice to receive, things like e-cards. That's built-in functionality into our platform. If you just want to say thanks to someone, there doesn't need to be a monetary reward attached to it, but it goes through the system. It can be tracked and reported on. We can see the people that are providing the thanks to other people. You can select a number of different cards. It could be just happy birthday, for example, or thanks for doing a great job, or thanks for helping me. So there are cards that you can select and then add your own message to make it personal to the person receiving it. And that's not really policed in any way, because it self-polices itself. And then I guess the other part of the strategy is those in the moment. You know, there's no better way of recognizing somebody than at the moment that they've just achieved something and it has been recognized by somebody else. And so we have something called instant points vouchers, which are both physical vouchers, but also we've got online digital codes as well. So those are every quarter, they're allocated to all the managers within an organization, within our organization. And essentially, you know, when you see people, you know, performing great acts or achieving certain things that are over and above what would necessarily be expected, then those IPVs are a great way of just saying thanks, you know, on the spot, praise and recognition for those people. And of course, it's great to be able to, you know, have those in a team meeting. So you're not just recognizing the person to them, you're also recognizing it in front of their team members as well. And so therefore, you know, they're feeling great, and that sort of sets off a very positive conversation and additional feedback for that person. We are, well, I very much encourage feedback and communication all the time. You know, nobody knows better than the people that are experiencing what you do. And whilst you might think you are doing the right thing, you know, it's always good to check with other people that they, you know, have either heard the same thing as you have, or whether they've experienced what you've done in the way that you intended it to. And so that goes right across the business, really, both in terms of leadership in the organization, right the way through to, you know, discussing feedback within team environments, one-to-ones, and also sort of all on board sessions where we get the whole company together all at once, you know, in person. And there's no better example than when you have a company conference. We had a company conference at our New Year kickoff, which was at the beginning of March, just before our lockdown here in the UK. And, you know, it was a great event. We had a full day where we were looking at not just reviewing the previous year's performance and achievements, as well as the objectives that had been achieved, but also looking forwards at you know, what the key focus areas were, splitting that down quarter by quarter, team by team, and, you know, everyone feeling a sense of not just being fully informed at what we're being set out to do and achieve, but also recognizing that it all fits into a larger plan, and that, you know, people are actually part of something more than perhaps just the team that they're in. It's also aligned to the departmental goals and the company goals overall. In addition, every single month we provide, again, all on board sessions to all of our teammates. So that's everybody being updated pre-COVID once a month. Well, since we've been in COVID, every single week. So we have everybody on a call every week, and making sure that everybody's kept informed, everybody stays connected and engaged with what's happening within the business, and also mixing it up a little bit. So we're getting a lot more, with more sessions, we're able to bring more people into the conversation, more people presenting, more people discussing ideas, sharing sessions around different program launches that we've been successfully achieving. But also what we include within that, and we always have done, is those that recognition for, you know, it could be as basic as new starters, for example, and you know, maybe providing a little bit of personality to that, to ensure that people, you know, don't just see a face and a name, they also, you know, find out a little bit more about what their hobbies are and things. In addition, we've got the Value Our Values awards that I mentioned previously in regards to our sort of recognition strategy. And those are physically awarded in those company updates. We also have not just our reward and recognition program, but our platform also provides sales incentives as well. And again, we use the tools that we build for our clients ourselves, and we call that program Driving Performance. And as you might expect, driving performance, we've actually taken on a sort of Formula One style theme to it. And so at the end of every month, we actually have a podium where, you know, the top 3 come and get awarded with their certificates, and also there's a prize for the winner. But it's really not a monetary process. It's very much a recognition, and those certificates are, you know, really, you know, held in high esteem by the winners of those. And then, of course, we've got our years of service that I also mentioned within our recognition strategy. But actually, we've chosen in the last couple of years to do something different, rather than just sort of, you know, provide a shout out to that person that's been in the business for 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, etc. We actually had a neat idea, which was to create a personalized Lego model of them. So if they're interested in golf, they would be like, you know, their golf clubs. If they're interested in a football team, they would have the shirt of their football team on their Lego model, and it would be a building block with, you know, the appropriate number of level of service, years of service that are added to as they reach those milestones along the way. And there's loads of people that, you know, love their Lego sort of recognition model that's individual to them. You know, they have it on their desk, or they have it at home now due to the COVID situation and working from home. And, you know, they that becomes sort of almost part of their identity and belonging with the business as well. So it's really good. If we know that they, you know, they love their cat, and we even find out, you know, let's find out what the, you know, what type of cat is it? You know, oh, it's a ginger tom cat. Let's get a Lego model that is exactly or as close to being like their ginger tom cat, or something of that nature. So, you know, it's really, you know, thought through and made to be as accurate as possible, to be as personal as possible then. We also have award ceremonies. So what we choose is essentially out of all of the our value winners, but also in recognition of people that have really gone above and beyond consistently throughout the organization. They're all considered for a Heroes Award. So CR Heroes is the name of our recognition and reward program, but the CR Heroes awards actually are made once a year. And for each of the categories, as I mentioned earlier, for respected, can do, innovative, and at a team level, potentially at a team level, there are those awards that are given out. And on top of that, we have an overall sort of Employee of the Year, which is our CR Hero of the Year award that obviously we do in front of everybody in the business. We also do a number of sharing sessions where certain things that particularly that are new, that are unique or innovative to a certain customer solution, we get to share. So that gives people the sort of the stage in order to be able to talk about what they've achieved with a particular client or a program. And of course, we do lots of surveys. We always want to get as much feedback as possible. We're a very collaborative organization. We like to reach a consensus. It's not always possible on everything, but you know, we want to make sure that everybody has their input. We also have a company newsletter, which is monthly, which is digital and very creative. We call that crumbs, because these are all the little bits of things that, you know, we don't want to overlook. We want to make sure that everybody's informed, you know, in multiple ways, in order to make sure that the messages get home and the actions that are needed to be taken by everybody are. We also use Yammer. We're quite sort of Microsoft centric. Office 365 obviously includes Yammer as a sort of more of a chat or instant messaging tool. So we upload a lot of useful information into that, and have created a number of subgroups where relevant information is provided. We also use Slack. That's more of an informal thing. This is about, you know, sort of Recently, we've been using a Slack an awful lot for, top tips on sort of mental health, how to get going, on a Monday morning when, it's that sort of daily drudgery potentially for some people. And so, lots of sort of, I would say, healthy banter and quite sort of, funny little quirky ideas that have happened. And of course, things like TV screens when we're in the office, about displaying dashboards about company performance, as well as shouting out, those recognition items that I mentioned earlier. And then, of course, social media in general. We make sure that we've got a good representation of all of our staff actively involved in social media, amplifying the messages that we're putting out as official posts from CR Worldwide, but also encouraging them to talk about their day. Regardless of your role within the business, everybody is equally important. And, if you've got a good news story, don't just share it internally, share it externally as well. So everybody is actively encouraged to do that. But we're constantly coming up with new ideas, either as individuals or as our sort of social committee, as you mentioned, CR champions. And there's a representative from each and every team across the business within that CR champions group. So they get their inputs from their teams, and then they meet as a group on a regular basis. And we've done all sorts of things. I would say that fundraising for charities is a really important part of not just social responsibility. That it doesn't need to be corporate. It's social responsibility in the context of the people. Where we want to benefit those around us. That are outside of the company, especially where you get people that have personal situations where certain charities have really helped out, and they want to give something back, and we want to get behind those ideas as well. So we've actually been doing a lot of things around mental health, and we've actually been providing, or we chose about a year ago now, the Mind charity, in order to build some fundraising events around that, and at the same time help with the profile and awareness of mental health, not just within our organization, but also out in the wider world. So that's been a really, really good thing to get everyone behind. Everyone keeps referring to it as well. We will do anything from a bake off through to a poker night, or going out and meeting up at some bowling alley, or sort of bongos bingo was another night as well that we've done, which is hilarious, and people have lots of fun. But people are willing to pay for these things. They're not even necessarily, the company's not necessarily expected to pay for it. The companies does subsidize these social events, but if people want to provide, or are willing to pay for these events, then in many cases we've been able to subsidize what people have paid, and then hand over the proceeds to the nominated charity. So those sorts of things happen all the time. What has changed, I think, in recent months, particularly with lockdown, as we've experienced, we've moved to, as you would expect, more online socials. So whether that's about checking in with people for a coffee and having a chat about a certain thing as a group. We've also found online poker with live chat and video, etc. Not saying that we're all poker stars, but the other things that we've done are around quizzes, where you can form into teams and you can have these online pokers with various apps. And we did one just the other day, actually, where we were. It was about sort of fill in the missing word, or answer this question. And then what it does is it asks everyone a different question in pairs, and then there's a sort of shoot off between the one that's most popular between the two. And you know, you can imagine that, you know, people that are put on the spot, you know, are trying to keep things sort of family friendly and you know, sort of very professional. But you know, typically these things are happening in the evening, and you know, people let their mask drop a little bit, and you know, have a bit of fun and maybe push the boundaries a bit. But that's where people are able to really express themselves and show their real human side and have a lot of great fun at the same time. You know, we have the benefit of being able to look at over 100 of our client programs and benchmark ourselves against that, and we score pretty highly. So I'm delighted that our reward and recognition program performs extremely well. I think that one thing that's really important is and I keep coming back to this, is employee engagement surveys and feedback. So we take that on board, we ask lots of questions. We also have working groups in order to review and improve or consider changes for improvement. Within the program itself, we've also got something called innovative ideas, where if somebody suggests something, then they get both a recognition and a monetary award. Something that's approved that then gets executed within the program or within the business. So that's a good way of doing that. We also take a temperature check every 6 months in terms of net promoter score for our employees within our company. And, you know, we've got some great, you know, positive scores for that. And, you know, we're delighted, because that's a true reflection of, you know, people feeling connected and engaged with the organization, and also recommending it to friends and family as a great place to work. So, you know, that's the sort of highest accolade that we can achieve, really. And, you know, more than 9 out of 10 people, you know, are promoters within our business. We've also done a number of changes that we feel, you know, over a sort of, let's call it a cycle of change. So rebranding, introducing new ideas, new concepts, new ways of being able to either nominate or even just changing the look and feel, you know, can freshen it up a little bit and make sure that, you know, people stay engaged. It's not looking tired and old. So that's always important. We've also gone out to the business to talk about things that are maybe raised within the employee engagement surveys, but we can't always give it everything to everybody, you know, depending on what they're asking for. And one of those things is, you know, flexible working and flexible working hours. So, you know, we you know, 4 or 5 years ago, we didn't have flexible working as such. But then what we decided is that we want a certain core hours to be worked, and people could either start earlier or later. And, you know, we've actually developed that over time, really in response to our teammates looking to find out if there's ways of us providing more flexibility to suit their own individual needs. Career development is another one where we provide the opportunity for everyone to have their personal development plan, but of course every individual should own their personal development plan. But we want to be supportive, we want to be caring, we want to enable them to achieve their personal development plans by providing the right level of training, coaching, mentoring, etc. We do salary reviews, which of course always is a popular one, especially when people get raises. But we also have to do that in conjunction with benchmarking the roles within our business, our immediate vicinity, and also the like roles as well. And we also like to introduce perks and benefits that may change from time to time. So, you know, these are more the employee benefits. And actually, we've got a big focus right now on sustainability, where, you know, we're actually now actively looking to try and look at the advantages of electric vehicles and providing salary sacrifice to our teammates, where, you know, they would be able to get a significant discount and taxable benefit through buying a new car or leasing a new car through the company. So I think that, you know, when it comes to sustainability, which is obviously a key thing, that is a really good example of where we've not only sort of encouraged people to provide ideas for change, but also taking them on board and actually making them happen. I believe that recognition actually allows or enables people to achieve more. It provides people with motivation. It provides people with, you know, a sense of achievement that actually propels them to be motivated to do more in their role. So it's encouraging positive behaviours with everybody involved. I would also say that that also encourages retention. So it breeds loyalty, and obviously success also breeds success. So it has a halo effect, not just in terms of the people that are being recognized, but also those people around them that are seeing or observing that recognition, because, you know, it's all very nice for them to also feel as though they can gain that recognition as well, because it's the recognition, you know, it has to be applied consistently and fairly in order to feel that there's no sort of, let's say, favoritism or anything like that. And so therefore, you know, it's genuine, it's honest, it's deserved, and it's a reward for the hard work and accomplishments of those people that get that recognition. So the first thing I would say is, you know, loyalty. And, you know, I think that's exemplified by the fact that our average length of tenure within our business is over 5 years. And we have quite a lot of fairly young people, called millennials, who, you know, have come to our company as their first or maybe their second job, and then stayed with us for 5 years or more, which, you know, is actually fairly unique in sort of this day and age. Secondly, I would say that, you know, recognition isn't just about, you know, sort of one-to-one. It's actually feeling part of a winning team. And, you know, I'm a firm believer that it's not just about individual contributions, it's actually the individual contributions that then turn into something that's even bigger as the result of an overall accomplishment. And so therefore, when people feel as though they're connected and they're engaged, then they also feel that belonging and a sense of purpose over the mission of the business. And, you know, we have a vision in our business, which, you know, is very clear. It can be recited, you know, by everyone within the organization. And similarly, the mission that comes sort of to drive us to that, you know, is so crucial. And so therefore, I think that the power of recognition is not just the shout outs to people that are achieving great things along the way. It's also the fact that it becomes part and parcel of, you know, every daily interaction. It's not just something to remind yourself about, or, you know, put in your calendar, oh, you know, remember to say thanks to so and so, you know, because then you've either lost the moment, or it's too sort of prescriptive. It should become natural. And, you know, the more natural it becomes, the more people feel that, and therefore the more you're going to be benefiting as an organization by having those people that are promoters of your business, and also they're willing to do whatever it takes in order to achieve the objectives that the company has in mind. So it's very hard to put a return on investment on it. It's easy to do at one sort of, let's call it one singular way, such as retention. So on the basis that we can improve our retention by 10%, then that means that we don't have to hire as many people and then train them up. And so the cost of acquiring new people when we lose people, you know, that's one way of calculating the cost of sort of employee turnover. But I believe it's a great deal more than that. I think there are the the direct monetary benefits of recognition, but I also believe that there are indirect benefits, and those indirect benefits are potentially even greater still than the financial direct benefits that can be calculated.